everybody. Welcome to the I'm Clifford Today show. I am Clifford today, and you're not.
And I'm not.
And Nick's not. Yes, we are joined by Nick Gundy today. Nick, go ahead and say hi.
Hello, everybody. Oh, I should say more.
Yeah, are you?
Oh
I was
yeah.
gonna say do your normal
Oh
intro
yeah, that's my
thingy.
normal thing. That's right. Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Gundy. We're going to be Orthodox Christian first, everything else second. But man, let me tell you, I'm going to give you guys a little update. So first and foremost, you need to pray for me because I made a TikTok account.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that
Oh,
in the last episode. How's that going?
well, thankful. So my plan is so far is to upload videos that I've made recently for my Riff Monday videos. If anyone follows me on Instagram and YouTube, I also started uploading
Mm-hmm.
those my Riff Monday videos on YouTube Shorts as well, and then I'm gonna continue on and expand it into TikTok as well. Let's see. I'm gonna find the guy that I've
Fair
been
enough.
listening to. It's just it's like
Okay.
strictly promotional reasons. So I'm not there
Sure.
to socialize, thankfully.
Right.
Just like to
Yeah.
follow
No.
follow my
I
friends.
mean.
Yeah. Follow some of my friends and then some of
Yeah.
my
I mean,
favorite
like
artists and pick up on.
Yeah, I mean, TikTok can be like what you make of it, like what you do. I mean, like I said in the last episode, I technically have a TikTok account, but it's been abandoned. I mean, maybe I'll come back to it, like posting shorts like I have been on YouTube and Instagram. But I don't know. It's just I can only take so many social media platforms that I can focus on. So I don't
Oh
know,
no.
but and going back to your regular intro, I'm kind of starting to think that maybe I should also, just to clarify, say something like, "Hey, I'm Clifford. Uh, I'm a Pentecostal second, and no, a Christian Pentecostal first. Everything's I don't even remember how you say it, but
Nah.
just
I mean
to
that was it,
differentiate,
yeah.
it's like I'm I'm like I'm not Orthodox. Nick is, but we're both Christians,
Yet.
so I just I don't want people. I don't don't have an agenda on me, Nick, trying
I don't
to
have an agenda.
convert me.
Gosh.
That's what I thought. So, um, but yeah, just don't want anyone to have the misconception that this is an Orthodox podcast. No, just two Christian. Well, I mean, I guess whoever is on here. I
Yeah.
mean, today it's just you and me, but it's a Christian podcast, and that's what matters most. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, this is
Cool.
Wonderwall.
Well, we're gonna.
Yeah.
Good song. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Today we are joined by "Mean Everything to Nothing" by Manchester Orchestra. It's a great. While I do think that Manchester Orchestra had better things coming. "Mean Everything to Nothing" is still a great album. Has some lot of great hits on there. I got to see Manchester Orchestra perform the whole album all the way through on their I think it was the 10th anniversary tour. So yeah, some good stuff on there. Um, we're not gonna waste too much time. I'm just gonna get through a few things, but
Mm-hmm.
we're a little constrained on time right now, and it's mostly my fault, but it's also just how the way of the world is because we're recording on a Sunday and we usually record on Saturday, but I couldn't because my good friend Mitchell, who if you guys
Hoo, hoo,
have
hoo, hoo.
either watched the channel long enough or have listened to Podwood Forecast, you know who he is. He got married yesterday, and I was
Hoo,
one of
hoo,
the
hoo, hoo.
groomsmen, and which was a lot of fun and very happy for him. But I got assigned the duty of returning the suits to the store today,
Ah.
and I had to do that this morning before the recording. And so yeah, so we moved the recording from Saturday to Sunday, and yet still things ended up going longer than was intended, so we had to push it to a half hour. And now the trip actually ended up being a waste of time because they weren't open yet. So um,
Oh
so I
no.
have to go back there. I have to go back there after recording. And then yeah, so I mean it's all the way in Springfield, so it's like an hour drive. It's like whatever. I do that for work. So yeah, so thanks Nick for being flexible. He might have to leave or well, most likely, yeah, you'll have to leave before the
Yeah.
episode's even done, but we're going to try and get through the most important stuff today, um, which I'll just go through what we're going to be talking about really quick. We're going to talk about the return of Van's Warp Tour and what that means for Christian bands and Christian music. And then we're going to talk about a recent controversy with the band Bloodlines and the audacity that they had to speak out against. I don't know if I'm supposed. I'm not. This channel isn't monetized, so I'm not going to get demonetized for saying this. I mean, I guess hide your kids, hide your wives. They dared to speak out against pornography, and so and they got made fun of for that. And so we're going to talk about that too, and maybe we might talk about this Gospel Coalition article. I don't know. It kind of just came out and I thought it would be interesting, but it depends on how much time we have. And if not, we might save it for another episode. But so, yeah, we're going to get through that. Just a couple quick things. Um, I mentioned Podwood Forecast. Go ahead and check that out. It's the other podcast that I have. And also, we're at 498 subs right now, so we're so close to getting 500 subs. So if you guys are new here, we have quite a few new people because of the John James episode, and that did really well. Which I want to talk more about that later, but because we had interesting reactions that were. I mean that people generally really like the episode, and still very grateful for him coming on. So yeah, and I guess another quick thing. I was featured on a podcast recently. I was on uh, my Twitter friend Caleb the Spy, his podcast, the Album Anniversary Podcast, and I was on there recently, and we got to talk about "Sigh No More" by Mumford and Sons, which is one of my all-time favorite albums. And so, if you want to check that out and support uh, Caleb the Spy, who talks a lot about Christian music, but he doesn't always talk about Christian albums. But yeah, please go check that out and support him. He's also on Twitter, Caleb the Spy, and he's always posting about like every day is an album anniversary, and so he always posts about that. So yeah. Um, all right. Well, let's get to it then. Let's talk
Yay.
about Van's Warp Tour. Uh, so I guess before we get started, Nick, did you ever attend Van's Warp Tour?
I never attended Van's Warp Tour. I know of a
Okay.
great many of friends and acquaintances alike that have attended, and even
Yeah.
like very few played in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure that a lot of the people that we know through like audio feed and such have probably played there. Um, so that's not surprising. I think even my own brother went one year, but I never did. Either for one reason or another. Maybe the lineup that year wasn't interesting to me, and I didn't. Maybe I was broke, or maybe I couldn't take the time off, or something. But yeah, so neither of us have gone to Van's Warp Tour, but we know a lot about it because back in the day, it was an incredible. It was a big deal back then, especially for people in the alternative punk, hardcore scene, whatever. Basically, if you anyone who was anyone in that music scene got to play at Van's Warp Tour, and yeah, I don't even remember what year it was. I think it was what this article that we're going to read probably is going to mention it, but they they stopped doing the tour a few years ago, probably around like 2014 or something, and it was kind of a kind of a big deal. And I I guess the reason why I want to talk about it is because Vans Warped Tour was pretty open to having uh, basically different bands of they were open to having like Christian bands on the tour. If for anyone who doesn't know what Vans Warped Tour is basically a tour that Vans, like the shoe brand, put together for a bunch of those different kinds of bands like punk, hardcore, alternative, to play. That was just kind of the scene, and it was just a whole tour across. It was basically the it was basically the punk hardcore version of Winter Jam. Basically, the
Yeah.
secular version of Winter Jam, except it was during the summer and it was an outdoor festival, which is it's a very unique thing because you normally festivals don't tour. Festivals are they just kind of stay in one place, and so I think that's what made Van's Warp Tour so unique. But yeah, going back to the Christian music thing, they were pretty open to having uh, a bunch of those kinds of bands that had members that were Christian and had Christian beliefs, and they were okay with it. And that was pretty cool. And there were a lot of bands that their careers basically boosted because they got on Warp Tour. And that's the one thing that I think Audio Feed has been kind of filling in that space of having different kinds of bands, like both Christian and some not, and just having them together in one space because Warp Tour wasn't around to do that anymore. But I'm just going to go ahead and read this article. It's from Billboard. Warp Tour to return in 2025. Founder Kevin Lyman hinted at a return for the rock festival's 30th anniversary. The legendary Vans Warp Tour could make a return in 2025. The traveling rock and punk tour, which launched in 1995, would celebrate its 30th anniversary next year, and founder Kevin Lyman hinted at its return earlier this week. Quote, "We have something cooking for 2025, Lyman told Polestar. Details should be ready in a few weeks." Billboard reached out to Lyman to confirm the news, but did not hear back by publication. Warp Tour spent 24 years traveling around North America with acts like The Damned, pardon my French, that's the name of the band, Green Day, Incubus, AFI, Against Me, Paramore, MIA, The Misfits, and hundreds more before retiring the touring model in 2018. Um, Quote, Lyman says, "I've done everything I can in the format that this is in," Lyman told Billboard at the tour's final stop in West Palm Beach, Florida in 2018. "It wasn't supposed to be around 24 years. It wasn't supposed to be around more than 1 year, but enough people saw what I was trying to do." In 2019, Warp Tour announced a slate of three 25th anniversary editions in Ohio, New Jersey, and California with a who's who of festival alumni, including Blink 182, 311, Bad Religion, the All American Rejects, Andrew WK, Anti Flag, Gym Class Heroes, The Offspring, Simple Plan, Bowling for Soup, Taking Back Sunday, Real Big Fish, Less Than Jake, and Good Charlotte. Following the end of Warp Tour's run, Lyman rebranded his For Finney, which put out on the annual Warp Tour events, to KLJ, Kevin Lyman Group, the production and strategic branding group. KLG, I think I said KLJ before, but I meant KLG, continues to work on festivals and events throughout the industry. So, I guess it's not really confirmed yet. This came out last month on the 19th, this article. Nick, have you heard any other like further confirmations about it, about Warp Tour?
Nope, not at all. It was just,
Nope.
that was like a
Okay.
like even hearing about it was like the first time hearing about this. I've equally heard some sarcastic announcements that perhaps the Chariot is going to be playing today at the Final Furnace Fest.
Oh,
But don't take my
well,
word
Josh
for it.
Gogan,
But
right?
I did see pictures of Josh Gogan on stage though.
Yeah, he apparently did a like I guess he like did a guest appearance on someone's set, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But I mean, I guess we'll find out tonight. I'll probably because I have some friends like on Twitter that they're posting about it, so we'll probably hear about it through that. That would be pretty cool though.
uh,
Um,
I,
okay,
yeah.
so
I
I
even
found an
saw.
updated
Oh,
article.
never mind.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was about to say there was also a Sasquatch sighting at Furnace Fest. For those of you that don't know, we were just refer. That's a reference to the signature attire of our good friend Kevin Schlarwith. A red baseball cap,
Oh
navy
yeah.
blue shirt, and red swimsuits.
What?
And there was like another
Why is he
person.
called Sasquatch? I don't really get that.
Uh I don't know. We'd have to ask him when he comes by in a
Yeah, I
few
guess
weeks.
so. I guess maybe because seeing Kevin is like seeing a Sasquatch sighting. I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe. But yeah, we are gonna see him in a few weeks. I guess
Yeah.
early announcement. He's gonna be in
Yeah.
town and he's playing a show at Nick Gundy's place, and I will be there too. So it's gonna be fun for any of my friends who are in the area. What is the date again?
It'll be October on Tuesday the 15th.
15th. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm sure that a lot of people watching now are friends from the area, so you guys can check that out. But yeah, so I got an updated article from the Collegian. Uh, Vans Warp Tour, and this is from October 2nd. Vans Warp Tour Festival returns for Encore. Bringing back the Vans Warp Tour is no longer just a rumor. It really will happen. The music festival brought music lovers of all ages together to spend a day seeing as many of their favorite bands as they could. This American music festival was full of rock, alternative, pop punk. Okay, yeah, we already know the spiel. Um, okay, so we have something cooking for 2025. Um, Details should be ready in a few weeks. Fans will have to wait. Um, for details about the lineup, dates, and locations, but man, am I excited that Vans Warp Tour could really be returning. Okay, so it's still speculation. Maybe I should have researched this for sure, whether it was coming back. But, still, I think it's fun to speculate, and I think we could still, like, talk about what it could mean because there are a bunch of bands in Vans Warp Tour that from the Christian alternative tooth and nail scene, solid state, whatever, that got a big break playing Vans Warp Tour. Even like seriously Christian bands like For Today toured Warp Tour, which I'm not sure if that could happen today. That I mean, I guess that's what I would be wondering is that today would they open it up to more of the more Christian bands? Like, has the culture changed so much that maybe they wouldn't be as open to those kinds of bands? I don't know. But back in the day, there was that big culture on the tour. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've heard something about them like some of the bands, Christian bands, or at least Christian members of bands, held like Bible studies at Warp Tour, and it kind of became this whole thing. So yeah, and there were band like For Today, Anne Berlin, Under Oath. In fact, there's a Memphis Mayfire, Norma Jean, Silent Planet, even Family Force 5 played Warp Tour. The Classic Crime, Mailing in the Sons of Disaster. Um, so yeah, so I'm wondering if it is the case that Warp Tour is back. I mean, maybe it'll be the case that this is just a one-off thing because it's the 30th anniversary, kind of like what the 25th anniversary. Um, but I don't know, Nick. Do you think that it would be like, because the economy is hard and festivals are struggling? Creation Festival, not too long ago, announced that it was done. And even for audio feed, it's kind of a struggle for them to get a good attendance. So do you think that we're really in a place right now where Van's Warp Tour could work? Because I'm pretty sure that it stopped basically because of economic reasons. I don't even know the full history of that.
Hmm. That is a good question. I think that if if it comes to full fruition, I would have to ask first how many days it would last. It could be a because like there's
Yeah, because
bands
wasn't it
that have
like a
come
week
and gone.
long thing?
I think it's like I think it could stretch up to 4 days, or since there are so many new bands and artists by this point in time, it could. It's
Yeah.
just like if you want to do it all at once, might it might this might work for a whole week because I know the
Yeah.
CMA Country Fest out in Tennessee, they go on for a couple of days. I've never gone to it. I still don't have a desire for it, but like they still get like very very big traction. Big, just like
You
because
don't
of the
have a
genre itself.
desire to go to Warp Tour, you mean?
I've been, oh, sorry. I meant I don't have a desire to go to the country music fest.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But, but I think like if it were to be successful, it have to be like like a firm dedicated thing for artists who are going to be booked and for the fans of the artists and of the festival to
Mhm.
help chip in and help make a good contribution to it. And like this is also for nostalgia's sake. So it could it could work, it could not work because like because like if you imagine how many years it's been different from 5, 10, 15 years ago, all the scene kids grew up there. So here's how the scene kids are today. They are either married, got kids, or neither.
Yeah.
That's just how it be.
Yeah, I wonder if
But
they would
I think
like, cuz is there even any like resurgence of like punk music, and I don't know if there's any really like real resurgence in like the younger generation of punk music. Um
I'm not
so I
sure
don't
for
even
punk
know if they
specifically,
could, yeah, or like
but I do
punk
know
or
for
hardcore whatever.
hardcore has had a
No, you're
very
good.
nice resurgence. I know that for sure.
Yeah, even amongst like younger people, because I'm not even
Yeah,
sure. I'm not aware. Okay.
yeah. I
Well,
mean, I usually keep up with the Hate 56 YouTube channel. I don't watch every single set that Sunny posts, but just like the amount of hype and all the great bands and like a couple of friends that I know of locally and then through audio feed as well that still go to hardcore shows regularly. There is a
mhm.
big resurgence in the younger generation after us. That's helping to keep it afloat. That's that much I know. I don't know how much more in depth. In depth.
Yeah, because that it is true that like that kind of music. I mean, Van Warp Tour was around when like that scene was like at its peak and at its most popular. Like it wasn't exactly mainstream, but it was almost like kind of sub mainstream. Because back in the day, like you could make a
Mm-hmm.
pretty decent living if you were in one of those successful bands. It was, it was the subculture of, the young people, especially with bands like My Chemical Romance and such. So these days it's gone back to being it's being underground, which is cool, because a lot of people could argue that like rock and roll like shouldn't be mainstream. It should like be underground, and that's what makes it like very anti-culture. So that's kind of like the heart and soul of rock and roll. Um, but yeah, it's definitely not like it was in its heyday, like back in from like 2005 to I looked it up actually. Warp Tour ended in 2018, so that was actually more recent than I remembered. But but yeah, so it's probably more likely that it's going to end up being a one-off thing. Like even when I just googled it, like the AI Google thing said that it's going to have its return for its 30th anniversary. So that kind of sounds like language that it's going to be a one-off thing. But I don't know. It's interesting to speculate that if, because I guess the guy who runs it, he's still like involved in the industry and still like the business is still um putting together touring or at least live music events. So I don't know, because like touring, like live music in general, I feel like has been suffering a lot lately. um
I mean,
but
it's been suffering since COVID.
uh, since COVID for sure. Yeah. I mean, it was probably going downhill a little bit before that, but COVID definitely like affected a lot of that. And so, but when you look at like, yes, I'm gonna bring up She Who Must Not Be Named, but Taylor Swift with her Eras tour did really, really well. So it's not like people don't want to go out and pay so much money to see their favorite artist. It's just, I guess maybe it's a matter of how it's done or who it is. I don't know what needs to change to bring people back in their seats to see some music. But I mean, I guess Taylor Swift has that star power, going for her. um and a lot of our bands, our favorite artists and bands, just don't have all of that. So I don't know. Well,
Well, the only
I
thing I
guess
can
we'll
think
see,
of,
and we'll.
the only thing I can think of that can help is like bring back down the prices of everything. We'll just we'll
Yeah.
see how this we'll see how this election year goes. I think we'll be fine. I think like that's what I think this is what everyone globally wants: lower prices for everything again,
Hmm.
so we can
Right.
be more stable, reprioritize, and then after that, there'll be less stress and more
Yeah.
time without guilt, so we can go to our favorite concerts.
Right. Yeah. Make Winter Jam $10 again.
Woo!
But yeah, it's true. Like we live in rough economic times, and uh, tickets are more expensive than they have been before. So that is a big factor. And then I don't really know the ins and outs of it, but like all these like ticket companies, there's a lot of stuff going on with them. So I don't know. I mean, I guess when it comes to Warp Tour, we'll find out what's once they have more announcements, more official details. And I'd be curious to see like, because that 25th anniversary lineup, it like didn't really have anything at all for like any bands from like the Christian punk or alternative scene. So we'll see, um because if it is just kind of a limited thing, I'm curious, like who's big enough that like from our Christian music scene that they could have on, like maybe Silent Planet. They're pretty big. Um, I don't know. We'll see.
The only,
It's fun to
the
speculate,
only
though.
other band I can think of would possibly be the Devil Wears Prada. That could help.
Are they really as
Or-
big as they used to be, though?
Yeah, good question.
Because because they
Or
were pretty big, but like
has-
even I don't keep up with Devil Wears Prada anymore, really. I mean, maybe I should, but especially since the members have kind of, they've also like kind of denounced their faith and such. As far as I know, maybe don't quote me on that, but as far as I know, that's kind of the direction that they've gone. So, not to say that like I stopped listening to an artist because they don't believe everything that I believe, but it affects it. That's for sure. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe they'll just get all the big mainstream people again, or maybe they might venture outside of that. We'll see. Who can
Yep,
know?
we'll see.
Yeah,
Okay.
but next, but first we have to go to a break real quick. We're at
Okay.
the 30-minute mark, so you guys go get up and get a snack or whatever. But also, you should probably watch the little ads that we have for you. So, or just skip ahead. I guess you don't have to keep it playing like a TV. You can just skip ahead. So I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we'll be right back, and we're going to be talking about Bloodlines. So
Yeah.
see you again soon.
This time on the Podwood Forecast.
He does.
If you can't catch it, never go around it. Can't push me out of fighting.
Cough core.
Never gonna give it up, no. All right, next question. How old then in limit cut? What the?
4.
No, that is not an option.
Anyways, I was at lunch and I have like a very strong memory of legitimately getting in a fight with another kid. Not like a physical fight. We were like sitting, just like arguing over
Flying
who was like
fists.
a bigger Spyro fan. And one of my reasons for being the bigger Spyro fan was I told him, well, purple's my favorite color. And he was like, oh man, he's like, dang it, red is my favorite color. Shoot.
You
And
truly
I was
bested me
lying.
with that.
Green was my favorite color, but I lived the lie of purple being my favorite color, and it is now
Wow. The truth come out on this podcast.
as a kid, it's my favorite color now. Darkness imprisoning me all around me.
Oh, I see absolute horror.
See, I don't know, for some
Listen
reason
to the Podwood Forecast wherever podcasts are found.
Guys, I just got done with a video call interview for the show, and I have to say that it was like the smoothest experience ever. Didn't have any issues or anything, and the video came out almost perfect. And do you know why? It's because I used Riverside. Riverside is your online recording studio where you can record a conversation with any guest online. You can easily record podcasts and videos in studio quality from anywhere, all from your browser or their mobile app. All you have to do is get your setup ready, send your guests a link for them to join, have them join from their phone or their computer, and just chat away. A lot of podcasts that you listen to are probably using Riverside, honestly. What sets Riverside apart is that a recording of your audio and your video is happening locally on your computer. So even if your connection isn't that good, it doesn't ruin the entire recording or anything. Once you've finished recording, you will get the individual tracks of each speaker and also a combined one. You'll receive all the raw files, including that Pepsi crystal clear uncompressed audio in up to 4K video. There's also lots of really cool features where you can edit your video right in their site. So, you're a YouTuber, a podcaster, or streamer, or a content creator of any kind, and you want to have high quality conversations with your guests, please use my link in the description and sign up for Riverside. If you want to support me and the channel, please use my link since I end up getting a cut from the sales. I'm not joking. Please support me. Sign up for Riverside and start recording today. Hey you. Are you a Christian artist, musical artist, or a musical artist who is a Christian? Well, you got music. You got music that you made. You got music that you're trying to get out there. Do you want it to be on my show? Well, it can be. And here's how. You go to the link in the description, submit a form, fill that all out, send me your music, and we'll get the song of your choice on this segment, the Spotlight segment, and the whole world will hear your music. And it's gonna be great. And I'm out of breath for some reason. Be a Spotlight artist today. Maybe not today, in the next episode. But it's gonna be fun. It's completely free. All I ask is that you promote the show, promote the episode that your song is on, and that's it. That's all I ask. But I want to support you. I want to support other Christian artists and get your stuff out there. So, yeah. Let's do it, baby. Spotlight artist, become one. Be it. Yeah. That's the ad. Let's do it. Okay, we're back, everybody. I'm sure you missed us, and we're gonna talk about Bloodlines.
Yeah.
Are you do you listen to Bloodlines at all, Nick?
Nope. Later, get so I can get a gist of what they're about and their music. Man, their music is very just. They sound exactly like they're the type of band where they're like the exact type, like they use the same copy and paste form of all the bands in 2010s, early 2010s. Because my mind immediately
That's
went
kind
to
of the vibe that I got.
Fit for Kane.
Yeah. Fit for a King, like For Today. I mean, because I used to listen to For Today, but because of the reasons that you said, I kind of fell off because I just realized, their music is very formulaic. But it's not to knock them as people or the message that they have at all, because we're going to be talking about that. Because for me, of course, I'm on their side with this thing, but. Yeah, I guess, their music is just not our thing, but, that's okay. Might be for other people, but yeah, it's not really the kind of metal or hardcore that I really listen to. But hey, all the best to them. But we're going to start off, we're going to read this article from Metal Sucks. And now Metal Sucks has been very prevalent in the metal hardcore scene. I feel like that they're kind of one of the main news sources, like maybe like other than like alternative press. They're kind of one of the main ones, and they have a whole podcast that they have everyone on. So they're a big deal. So on September 12th, so yeah, I know that this is old news, but hey, welcome to the I'm Clifford Today show, where we
Yeah.
We talk about things like at least 2 weeks later than it happens. But so this article was written by Hesher Keenan. And the headline is "This Anti-Porn Mosh Call-Out Sure Is Something." And it goes on to say, there have been pretty legendary mosh calls over the years. I mean, who can forget what the F up, what the F is up, Denny's, or the time Kublai Khan, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Kublai Khan TX urged
Kublai
concert
Khan.
goers to Kublai Khan, okay. Kublai Khan, Texas, urged concert goers to turn someone into guacamole or applesauce. Classic, iconic, easily quotable.
Yeah.
Can't say I ever heard that one, but cool. Anyways,
Me
while
neither, but I'm like,
scrolling through
for this
TikTok,
band, I believe it.
yeah, sure, sounds on brand. While scrolling through TikTok, I found one that might raise some eyebrows or at least get the terminally online contingent of our commenters talking. Just before launching into an admittedly pretty heavy breakdown, Texas-based Christian metalcore act Bloodlines called on their crowd to throw down in the pit for Jesus, and they did that by hitting back against pornography.
Pornography will not take the hold of you! Verify my way according to your word! For I can do a thing to Christ!
Now, let's be clear. We at Metal Sucks don't begrudge your religious beliefs. Pray however you want, nor do we judge anyone for their internet search histories and their online viewing proclivities. You do you. I just think it's weird to bring up porn in a public venue like that because for some of the people they were instantly, albeit inadvertently, thinking of, excuse me for this, but boobs, butts, and boners. Maybe I should put like a mature audience warning on this episode. Just in case like your kids are
You
listening.
could just like do
Um,
you can just like do a little tagline on this segment that says like discretion advised.
yeah, sure. Yeah, probably do that. And so yeah, talking about boobs, butts, and boners. And that's funny in this context. But I digress. However you want to get your fans to start doing it, pulling each other this way. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. I mean, that's basically the end of it. And so I'll probably put a clip of the clip on this video, but didn't even, I guess it's not saying in the article what they said exactly, but you watched that clip, right, Nick?
Yeah, I just watched it briefly again because the article does feature the TikTok
Yeah, it
videos that you
features the
guys are
video.
probably
Yeah.
already seeing at this moment. So
Yeah, so I don't know. There's something about this article that seems very 2010. Like,
yeah,
to harken back to For Today again, it was I don't remember if For Today talked specifically about pornography exactly. I mean, maybe they probably did at some point, but they always, were outspoken about a lot of things and outspoken about their faith and coming to Christ, and it was a big part of like what they did. I mean, I remember watching a documentary about them, and they really considered For Today a ministry, and they took it very seriously, and people made fun of them back then. I mean, they almost pretty much got canceled just because of some of the views that they had. Well, they had some, they spoke out against like homosexuality and all that, and they got made fun of for that. And so I think it's just kind of weird that Metal Sucks is writing about this now when it's just like, haven't we gone past this? I mean, like Christian bands they're gonna Christian band. They're gonna speak out against these things, and I just thought that we got past the point that this was weird. But no, I mean, I guess we're just back to the point where it's just like, oh, what? Look at these weird Christians, you know. I don't know what are your thoughts, Nick?
Well, like all things, it is all place. Like if you want, I mean, like if you
Mm-hmm.
want to speak out these things, that's good. That is good. Speak out. uh, It's good, but I think it also is based on and how to presenting it. I think like Bloodlines.
Mm-hmm.
What I vaguely can see and tell that like yes, Bloodlines is trying to do good, sure, a good quick message, but like
Mm-hmm.
especially at a breakdown, but like they could have worded it in another way because like
Oh yeah.
because like
How so?
with like with, you got me.
Sorry.
Let's see. So that's good. I mean, that's good then. Well, pornography is just like it's like one of the symptoms to the passions of lust, and like people
mm-hmm.
like people and like people uh, like at this point day and age, there's like a lack of structure, boundaries, and some sign of integrity, self respect.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped making those, even from listening to an Orthodox testimony that like I quit laughing at or even making that's what she said jokes for
Yeah.
about almost a year, and I'm like, I'll just like immediately shoot it down. But no, you know, because because lust in all of its forms visibly, it's just the devil uses that as an attack on the family structure because the nuclear family is a representation church, Christ the bridegroom and his bride the church, and then all the
Mm-hmm.
people in it as the in it children. Will always make something ugly, but he can't make anything that's already ugly. Taking good things like sex, you take sex and all the context of marriage and family, lacking something. It is self
Mm-hmm.
self fulfilling, fulfillment, and self because like
Yeah.
whether we like to admit it or not, we're all a bit lonely in this day and age. But hey,
Right.
people are still getting married. There's been several marriages already.
Yeah.
There's already some babies being born. I got cousins on both sides of the family that are both, which is always always awesome to hear.
Yeah.
So, but of course there's before I forget, we do know, and I'm sure Clifford does know, it's not just Christians around that help continually speak out against all these things. Like there's also a
Mm-hmm.
nonprofit called Fight the New Drug
Yeah.
that share,
Mm-hmm.
that shares and promotes the harms of pornography and many people in the secular world. With that are learning the damaging side effects mental psychologically as well that it has
Mm-hmm.
because like because like there's always two sides of the coin. We're all we're all we're all desiring to heal from all of this, or and then there's also us that are still trying to make it's like lie to ourselves and still when it just doesn't work at all. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you make a good point that like it's not just the Christians now that are saying that. It's like it seems that within the past 10 years or so that the secular world is finally catching on to the fact that like, hey, I don't feel fulfilled, you know, acting out in these ways like all the time. So you have like um and so people are like actually figuring out like, hey, pornography has all these issues as well, that it's not just about like not doing it because the Bible says so. It's also about like and these are like good reasons why, you know, like God
Mhm.
commands us not to do these things. But like, you know, pornography has a lot of both physical and mental defects on people overall, on individuals and on relationships in general. And it just has an overall negative impact. And there's also the aspects about you know, just the fact that the porn industry is just a corrupt uh industry where people are hurt. And it's just like, I mean, people might argue like, oh well, then you got to make sure that, you know, it's consenting adults. It's like, how do you really even know? And even if they are quote unquote consenting, how do you know that they're not being like manipulated to doing those things? How do you know that they haven't been like abused in their life and so they've been conditioned to think that this is what they need to do? There's a whole bunch of problems about that. And it's it's cool to see that a lot of people in the world, not everyone, of course, as Metal
Right.
Sucks has shown us, a lot of people are catching on, even especially people like Terry Crews, the actor, has been very outspoken against pornography, and a bunch of other celebrities, even like Billie Eilish, has talked about how it had a negative impact on her life. I mean, I don't know if she's like she's probably not necessarily saying like that it's like outright bad and people should stop it, but she's been open about the fact that it really damaged her and her mental view on like sex and relationships and such. So, and that's why that's another reason why I think it's so weird that Metal Sucks thinks it's weird, you know, because it's not
Yeah.
that
Well.
taboo anymore. I don't think, to be against pornography. So I don't know. What were you
Yeah.
gonna go say?
And yeah. And like we should also take with a grain of salt. This was just an article by one person, so it
Yeah,
doesn't reflect everybody of Metal Sucks, but just like it was published on Metal Sucks, but it doesn't share the overall view of them or anybody else. But it's just like one's opinion, but it's just
sure.
like
That does remind me, though. I was actually going to look at the comments of when this was posted, because that's how I learned about it. It was like shared on Facebook and such, and a lot of my friends were reacting to it. A lot of people from like audio feed and such. So I forgot to pull that up. When was this? September 12th. I'm gonna go find it really quick. Um,
oh yeah, I
it's
did skim and
very
I just skimmed through the comments on the article too.
yeah. There's some on the article, but I thought that maybe Facebook would have a better representation of people's reactions, because it's a good mixture. But I thought it would be interesting to read these. Like someone commented, and I'm gonna filter these, of course. But someone commented, "They're inspiring me to watch some right now." Um, Someone else commented, "Let that be a lesson. Next time a band needs to empty the pit to get an injured fan out of there, just do what they did." Okay. Alternative metal heavy music enjoyers are so negative in so many aspects. I don't know what is more sad, pathetic and toxic, the metal or rap community. So I don't know if that's a comment on metal sucks or Bloodlines. I don't know. Um, Someone else said a Christian metalcore band. I thought emo was bad, but apparently I was wrong. Well, welcome to the world. Both are a thing. Um, a lot of angry. Oh, no, I'm not going to read that. Never mind. Oh yeah, someone commented. Some of you have never been to a For Today show, and it definitely shows. It's true.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here's another one. Yes, telling people what they should do with their own bodies has always worked out well. Let's see how this plays out. Um, so yeah, good. I mean, there's some people that are like, because I remember, our mutual friend Ryan Getz, who is one of the, like, oh my, sorry, I didn't realize that my camera was out. I was not paying attention.
Oop.
Hold on. Okay. I'll
Okay.
I'll try to remember to cut that out. But like our friend Ryan Getz, who is one of the I guess runners of audio feed, he even commented, or he might have shared it, and he said something along the lines of like, I'm not going to bash you for your faith, and he's like could proceeds to bash you for your faith. um so 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 it had some reactions of people being like, why are you doing this, metal sucks, but also other people making fun of Bloodlines along with them. So yeah, but I want to get back to the point of what you were saying, Nick. So you were kind of criticizing Bloodlines for I guess how they I guess portrayed the message. What do you think that they should have done differently, I guess?
Mm, that's good. That is still a good question because I'm trying to think about what I would do to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because like overall, I think what they're trying to control overall is a fruit of the spirit, and it is good.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even Memphis Mayfire has a good song called "Vices." They're like, we are not our vices. They don't define us. We are more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So
Right.
they made close close to that. That vice
Okay.
that vices. Well, you are not you are not your vice, or your vice.
Well, I guess
Don't
I
let your
guess I
vice.
thought that was,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I guess I thought that that's what they were trying to get across, because they said something
Yeah.
along the lines of like, you will not be enslaved by pornography, and I guess that's a different way of saying that, like, you're not your vices don't control you.
Right.
um But I guess your main complaint probably would be that it was like too brief, like they didn't take enough time to really expand on it. And I guess that's kind of
Or perhaps they rehearsed it
the
enough.
probably. I
Yeah.
think they
So
probably did, but since it was like
yeah.
technically like a call to mosh or whatever, you can't just like preach a sermon when you're trying to do a mosh pit
Right.
call
That
or whatever.
that get it too.
Yeah. Which, speaking of For Today, because, I saw them once or twice, Maddie Montgomery, like, always took a segment in their show to basically preach, like, just give a short message. And so maybe they could have, like, done that, taken some time to, like, really Because yeah, just saying that like you will not be a slave to pornography. I guess that's why they would get a reaction like this from Metal Sucks. Like maybe it would be better that they further explained, what they're talking
Mhm.
about, and just give some good spiritual advice. Good and a good gospel message. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess with those criticisms, I think the main thing is that I don't know, Metal Sucks. It's kind of cringe that they're um that they're making fun of them for this and all the other people commenting. It's like, hey man, get with the times. Pornography is really not that great for you. Um, I mean, I understand it. I understand the struggle, um, but I think it's something that we all need to do our best to fight against. We got to get to the point where pornography is cringe, and
Mhm.
yeah, go support Fight the New Drug. Buy some T-shirts from them.
Yeah.
They're a great organization. I used to have a T-shirt of them, and then I grew out of it.
Yeah,
I
you
got
did.
fat.
Oop.
I could look.
We've all gone
I should
fat.
look and see. Yeah, that's all of us. I should see what shirts they have now. I liked the skull one. I wonder if they still have that up with like the
Jeremy
dagger.
from Earthgrown's has worn some.
Oh yeah, I
Taking a
that
look too.
makes sense. Um, I wouldn't be surprised. Uh, wait, what? $100 off your live event. I should see if I could become like an affiliate or something. um,
Mm.
shop. Sorry, I'm just taking a quick look at what they got. Oh yeah, they still got
Yeah, me
the
too.
Porn Kills Love with the
Yeah.
skull. Nice. I like these new ones too, with this kind of like vintage kind of style. I like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, porn's bad. Um, and that's the main takeaway from this. Cool. Well, I don't know how much time you got left, Nick,
I
till
got
you got to
about like
go.
I can stretch it to 8 more minutes.
Are you sure? Well,
Yeah.
I guess it depends on what we want to do. We've been going for about an hour, so it'll probably end up being like an hour and a half episode. Um,
Yeah.
we could get into the Gospel Coalition article, but we could also just save that for later, or we could just start talking, going into my humble opinion. What
Okay,
would
well,
you rather do?
let's save the contemporary gospel for next episode. Hopefully we'll have the rest and more
Yeah, we'll see.
to this.
Yeah, and I do actually have a special idea for the next episode. I mean, we should have room to do that, but I want to do so. I'll let you know what it is, but it's a Halloween related thing. I want to do a
Okay.
Halloween themed episode. So, because yeah, spooky season is here. But yeah, we'll do the Gospel
Yay.
Coalition article later. Because I did see some people talking about it, so it could be good. But let's do as much of my humble opinion as we can before you go.
Yay.
So today we're going to be talking about new music from Half Alive, John Van Deusen, SOWER, and I mean, I guess you can call this new music. It's technically just a new special release from Blindside. Um, but yeah, I guess since you're the one leaving, what would you like to talk about first, Nick?
I want to talk about John Van Deusen and then the Blindside anniversary album.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so, oh, sorry, you can go ahead.
So I did listen to the that he had once, I think
Comeback
either yesterday
Wrecker.
or comeback record. Yeah,
Yeah.
yesterday. And his other single, the Before You Fade Away, it's been my son like out of the rest
Nice.
throughout the week because like that if Two Rhymes had a song had a anthem for the 2020s, I think this would be it.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess because I'm not sure exactly what the story behind the song is, but I do know that it has a sort of desperation to it, and it could be about people ending their lives, um, or people who are having those kinds of thoughts. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Um, it could be. It has kind of a the lyrics are kind of vague, which is not a knock against it
Mm.
at all. But I guess you could interpret it that way. Maybe I can see if I can text John and see if he'll answer and um, answer the question. But uh, but yeah, so you've really been liking the single then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Yep.
fun one. It's we talked about Comeback Wrecker when it came out a few episodes ago, um, and this song it's more of a ballad compared to Comeback Wrecker, but
Mm.
it still hits hard. Uh, it's like I said, it's a song of desperation fueled with desire to be loved and the fear of being alone. So I guess you could take that from that perspective. Um, and the guitars just fill the song with John's vocals soaring over them. It's just this great, basically power ballad. Whereas like Comeback Wrecker was more of like a alternative punk kind of sound. Um, this has a slower tempo, but you know is still just as just has so much oomph to it, and the chorus is great too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's weird to call it catchy, but it is catchy. It has a very memorable melody line to it.
It's going on in my head
um
right now.
yeah, it's really it's memorable, and it's a good kind of stuck in your head kind of, and it has a lot of emotion to it. So it's not like that you've got like this a stupid song stuck in your head or anything.
Yeah.
Um, I will also say as an aside, you guys will most likely see a clip of it, but the music video is really good too. It has a really
Mm-hmm.
sweet and wholesome ending to it. But yeah, so we talked about before how these singles are leading up to an album, and John talked about it when he was on the show how these songs are excuse me, they're songs that he wrote like years ago. They're like early songs that he wrote before he started his solo career. And so he's basically taken these old songs and reworked them to an extent. Um, so according to him, it's going to be a lot of songs that have a very unique perspective that was unique to him at the time. So yeah, I'm really interested to this is one of my most hyped albums this year. Anthem Sprinter is what it's called, and it's going to be coming out really soon. In fact, I think it's November it's coming out. So we'll definitely
Ooh.
be talking about it then when it's out. So yeah, so thumbs up from us. That is Before You Fade Away by John Van Deusen. Uh, cool. All right, let's talk about Blindside. So this was a 20th anniversary release for their album um, about a burning fire. And the reason why we're talking about it now is because it's got 2 unreleased tracks on it. And so, in my eyes, that is basically new music from Blindside. Um, and also, it was a good excuse for me to actually like finally listen to this album like all the way through. Now, my history with Blindside is that like I was introduced to them through Wolves at the Gate because they covered their song Sleepwalking, and I fell in
Ah,
love with that song. Yeah, it's a great song, and I listened to a couple other songs, but for the longest time until like now, Blindside was just one of those bands that I knew a few of their songs and I loved those songs, but I didn't really make a deep dive into their music. So I thought this is a great excuse to listen to this album. I knew one of the songs beforehand. I knew "All of Us," which is one of the most popular songs on the album. But yeah, and so with this new release, we got 2 new tracks on it. Nick, do you have much of a history with Blindside?
nope, not one bit. And when I listened to their first album, I you were a mu- you've been a fan of theirs for much longer, just by the
I mean, technically, I
stuff.
have. I'm
Oh,
just not a great fan.
okay, yeah, oh, okay,
It's like I've known about them for a
like
while, but yeah, I haven't. I'm not as die hard as every. I mean, I'm gonna be after listening to this album all the way through. But yeah. Anyways, continue your thought.
yeah. So I'll say that just to wrap up. As I was listening to it, I was like, oh yeah, this is something this definitely does and would enjoy.
Yeah, it's right up my
So
alley.
yeah, so
It's
mhm,
sorry. Go ahead. The delay is pretty bad
it
today
does.
for some reason.
Oh wow. But say yeah. Okay, well, I also gotta head out. Great talking to you.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Then
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate you taking the time to do this. I know it was pretty crazy today, but we'll miss you, and I'm sure we'll see you in the next episode. Hopefully, I'll keep in touch with you.
yeah.
But thanks for all your
Yep.
insight today. We'll
Till
see you
then.
next time. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Everyone, say bye to Nick. He's gone. Okay, so sorry about all this confusion in the episode. I already explained how things have gone today. But yeah, so continuing our talk about Blindside, obviously, it. I think that Nick approves. I guess he didn't really get around to that, but he wanted to talk about it. So yeah, I'm becoming a new fan of Blindside, and this was a good opportunity for me to listen through this album. I'll talk a little bit of about the album, but um, uh, I I will try to focus more on the last 2 tracks since I mean the new tracks since that's what all the Blindside fans will care about mostly. But yeah, about a burning fire I think is a terrific album. Um it's kind of perfect in my opinion. And Nick is right, it is like right up my alley when it comes to like hardcore music, metal, whatever. Um I'm the kind of like hardcore metal fan that I don't like things to be straight up whatever genre, straight up metal. Like I need some I need something new, I need something different in it. That's why I listen to a lot of bands like The Chariot, Norma Jean, The Ongoing Concept, and I used to listen to Under Oath, um, and Maylene and the Sons of Disaster because all those bands had their own unique twist to it. It's a little harder for me to listen to other bands that are just they're just straight up, just metal, and they have just all the tropes, and I get bored easily, you know. it's not that I have a problem with like heavy music or the screaming or anything. It's like, what are you doing different to keep my attention? And Blindside, yes, of course, it's a very old school sound um, that is familiar to me, but I feel like that they were very much ahead of their time in a way. And I think this album is a great testament to that, where um, it's just great music, great vocals, great melodies, and it's just they're all just bangers on this album. And every once in a while, they have these little things that they put in their songs that just kind of hook you. And it's like, oh, this is different and this is unique. Um, and so I really love that about this album. I mean, like, I love Shakina. It's such a fun song where they have this. I'm going to assume that it was a Swedish singer, because I'm pretty sure they're sweet. They're either Swedish or from Switzerland. I don't know. I mean, you guys can fact check me on that in the comments. But yeah, just a fun album. I mean, it doesn't like stray too far from the genre, but just enough to just keep you interested. And they just great songwriting and great vocals and everything. It's just so much fun. And so I'm gonna just keep on listening to this album. And the new two songs are great as well. And it's kind of like, why did they not put these on the album? I mean, I guess having two extra tracks will make it it would make it longer. It's like, going from a 12-track album to 14. It's like, I don't know, but I thought that they're really fun, especially, they're. I mean, what other band will have like a surf rock fueled song with, like, all the hardcore the hardcore blanket on it? I mean, I can understand why they took that song off, but I wish that they did. I wish they kept it on. I can understand why they would take it off, because it's like, it's too different, it's too weird. But like, there's already a couple of tracks on here that are different technically, genre speaking, especially Shakina. Um, but I digress. I mean, they're released now, and so we can enjoy them now, and that's really exciting. I'm glad that they put these out. I mean, I wish that they would make new music, but this is close enough. I don't know what the story is behind that. Why they're not releasing music, but I don't know. So, Blindside fans should rejoice. These songs are great, a lot of fun, and Blindside fans will be happy to know that I am a new fan. I mean, I was a fake fan before, but now I want to be a new fan, and maybe I'll do a Blindside album ranking episode, so that it'll force me to listen to more of their albums. Because I definitely want to listen to more of Silence. I know a new couple of the songs from that, Sleepwalking and Pitiful. And I want to listen to With Shivering Hearts We Wait. I knew one of the songs from there. I just want to listen to more of it, and so I want to just push myself to do that. But yeah, so this 20th anniversary edition of About a Burning Fire, it gets an A+ for me. So go check it out. All right, up next, we've got a new track from Half Alive. And it's called Sophie's House. And they've announced that they've got an upcoming album coming out. So I'm really excited about that. I was a big fan of Conditions of Being a Punk. So I'm really excited. But this new track, Sophie's House, it's a wonderfully catchy song that makes you want to dance, honestly. I mean, yeah, in the music video, they're dancing. But, I mean, it makes sense. It's like, yeah, I'm listening to this and I want to dance. The production with these guys is always immaculate. I mean, they've worked with great producers like Paul Meany. I don't know if he's had a hand in this track or not, but they're always so great at making pop music sound interesting and creative. It's a fun song about nostalgia and reminiscing the good times of youth, but also struggling to live in the moment and remembering that the good times are happening now. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and just listening to it with headphones is just, hearing all the different kinds of sounds that, like, on the surface seems just like a typical, indie pop song, but there's so many layers to it that just sound so good. And yeah, I think they're a pretty underrated band. So yeah, new single, Sophie's House, Half Alive. Go check it out. And last but not least, we have the song. We have a new track from SOWER, which he is an artist that is the guys at JFH have talked about him, and he's coming up in the indie Christian music scene. Good, exciting new artist, and um, he's got a new track called Fall. He's released a lot of EPs that are very, like, theologically sound. I mean, the whole purpose of sorry, my throat is like really dry today for some reason. I mean, like, on Spotify, he says, so it's from Eric Tuffensome. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It's a music project from him, from Eric. He basically, the whole purpose of SOWER is to basically take scripture and put them into song. And so I mean, not really like word for word, um, like verbatim from scripture, but just taking themes of scripture and putting them into song. And so he's got this new song called Fall, and it's about, the fall of humanity. Um, and it's wonderfully poetic and well written and scriptural, and it's fantastic production as well. It's a very clean indie pop punk kind of sound, and his vocals sound great. And that he had another single from this upcoming EP called Creation that is great as well. So yeah, and check out his other EPs. He's got The Soil, and a bunch of other singles like Psalm 2, and I guess he just has the one EP, The Soil. Sorry, I'm spreading misinformation, but yeah, he reached out to me and asked me to check out his music, and this one just happened to come out, and so I wanted to give him a shout out. So definitely go check out SOWER, SOWER. And yeah, his single Fall. It's really good.
Mankind fell into sin, eating the fruit forbidden.
All right, well, that's it. That's it for my humble opinion. And getting to the end of the episode, we do have some housekeeping to do. Gonna do real quick because I'm not gonna neglect you guys and your comments. So, as we mentioned before, the John James episode did really well, and in case you guys missed it, I talked to the former lead singer of Newsboys, and he was on the show. We got to talk about his time on the Newsboys and his time leaving the Newsboys, and now he's making new music. So definitely check it out. It was a great episode, and got some reactions. But okay, so I wanted to talk about this. This episode has done really well in terms of views, and what has it got? Right now it's sitting at 747 views. and it was getting a lot of traction just at first. But it was really weird to me because it was getting not like 100 dislikes, but it was getting like a handful of dislikes for some reason, and literally like no comments as to like why that was the case. And so it was kind of concerning me. And you probably saw me post about it and such. It's like, hey, if you help me out, if you guys liked it, please leave a like, because the ratio is getting a little bit out of control. But if you didn't, I did say, like, if you didn't like it, please comment and let me know what issues you had with it, because I want to know. And if there's anything wrong with the video, I want to know why, and I want to grow, and I want to learn. So it wasn't really that, like, if it was the case that it was just a bad episode and people weren't liking it, that was not a problem. It was just the fact that I was getting all these dislikes, and no one really telling me why. So that was just troublesome to me, because dislikes on a video can, hurt it in the algorithm. And so I just didn't want that to be the case, especially since it was such a big episode for me. So I was getting a little sad. But I looked into the analytics for the video, and it turns out, I don't understand why. I can't explain this to you, but somehow that video got put on a bunch of playlists, or I think what they actually were was like podcast playlists, because that's basically how YouTube does podcasts, is that you add them to a playlist. There's like a podcast playlist. I have the I'm Clifford Today show playlist, and it gets added to that so that YouTube knows it's a podcast. And it got added to a bunch of random podcast playlists. And I don't know why. That was definitely not my doing. It was almost as if someone like paid for that to happen, to like some people do. They like pay for a service to get more views on a video. And it was almost as if like it looked like that I did that, but I definitely didn't. It just kind of happened randomly. I don't know if it was an accident or what. But I think what was happening was that people were randomly coming across this video of a show that they weren't watching and didn't want to watch. And so, of course, to them, that automatically means, this isn't what I wanted to watch, dislike. So that's my explanation for it. I don't know if it's true, but it kind of makes sense why people would just leave a dislike and not care to leave a comment. So yeah, that happened. But I'm still got a few reactions from it, and very grateful for it. I actually did get a bunch of comments, because I posted this video on a couple Facebook groups. There's a Peter Furler fan community on Facebook. Even though it wasn't about Peter Furler, I figured that they would appreciate John James. And they did, and I got a lot of good feedback on there. And I also shared it on there's a 90s Christian Music Days group on Facebook, and I got a lot of responses on there. I'm not going to go back on there and read them, but I will read the few that I got from you guys on YouTube. So, first comment is from Jive Tab, aka Chase Tremaine, and he says, "First." So yes, congratulations, you were first. But I gotta say that is kind of, I've never gotten a first comment. That means that you've made it when you get one of those first comments, when it's people trying to be the first commenter. Although for me, it's not really that difficult. So thanks, Chase Tremaine, for being first. Easy Gamer says, "Thanks for the interview. Listening to it now. Hopefully we'll see some former members of the Newsboys on the new album from John James." And you obviously commented before you watched the whole episode, but John did give some behind the scenes about the episode, and he was open about the fact that no Newsboys were involved in the making of no former Newsboys bandmates were involved in the making of the album. He did talk about how he did try to get Steve Taylor on, and Steve Taylor wanted to, but he was just too preoccupied with other projects. Probably the Russ Taff album that's coming out, which I'll probably give a review for when it's out. But yeah, that would have been cool. But he also did mention that they got the guy who played a B3 on a couple of Newsboys' old tracks. He got him to come back and record on there. So that's really exciting. That's about as close as we get, though, to getting another Newsboy. We got another comment from Chase Tremaine. Oh, by the way, Easy Gamer, thanks for the comment. Chase Tremaine. So this is a continuing drama conversation that started back when Jean-Pierre was on the show. Hopefully he'll be coming back soon. We talked about Chase Tremaine's mini album that he released on Bandcamp. I'm not going to get too much into it, but I read a lot. They basically kind of had a back and forth in the comments, and I don't know. I probably shouldn't have, but I basically read the conversation on the show. I mean, it's a public conversation. It's not like it was private. So, but Chase said, "I can't believe you're reading my full comments to JP from last episode." And I told him, like, hey, if it's an issue, I can edit it out. I'm just a sociopath and don't tend to consider other people's feelings. Jay said, nah, it's fine. I just wish I'd posted my other reply. Because, yeah, they continued the conversation after we recorded the episode. So I didn't get that in. But, yeah, that's the danger. If you comment on the video, I'm going to read it. And Chase, you got my contacts. You can, if it's something that's very private, you can always message me. But I do appreciate the comments. We got another comment from Joshua Branham. Says, Clifford, you will have to eventually interview Peter Furler. And yes, absolutely. I want to make that happen. Here's the thing that this is a really fun development that has happened with the channel that I'm really happy about. And it's all thanks to you guys. And I don't know if I've talked about this on the show, but with getting guests like Ronnie Martin, which I guess he wasn't technically a guest on the show, but he let me interview him. John Van Deusen, Josh Porter from Showbread. Again, I've loved every single person that I've had on the show, but those guys, and now John James, were people that I listened to for a long time and looked up to, and wouldn't have even imagined that they would be on my show and that I would interview them. But I now feel like, now that it's happened, it kind of makes me feel invincible in a way where it's like, I feel like I could get almost anyone that I want. Like any dream guest that I want seems pretty attainable right now. And so I kind of feel like if Peter Furler is the kind of guy that like responds to emails or social media DMs, if I could reach out to him, I don't really have much doubt in my mind that he wouldn't be on the show. Same thing for like Phil Joel, or heck, maybe even any of the other Newsboys members. Steve Taylor. And so it's kind of because of that where it's like, yeah, I feel like that I could reach out to Peter Furler and he would be on the show, which is cool. But we have had a long string of interview guests. And on top of that, having John James on the show, I feel like we need a little bit of space before we have another Newsboys guest on. So because of that, sorry, I got this tickle in my throat today. Because of that, I have a whole lot of confidence that I could get him on the show. But I feel like we need a little bit of a break, not just from interviews, but just a little bit of space between a John James and Peter Furler episode. I mean, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just having too much control over the aesthetic of my channel. Maybe I don't want people to get the conception that this is a strictly Newsboys channel, because it's not. No matter what you guys think, I mean, it kind of is. But so yeah, I'm gonna reach out to him eventually, and we'll make it happen. But I think I want to reach out to some when I feel like that there's enough space between the last interview episode. I'm gonna reach out to some other guests, get some more variety on the channel, and hopefully I can. I'll reach out to Peter Furler and try to get him on the show. I would love that. I've already met Peter Furler. I mean, he wouldn't remember, but I met him outside of uh, a show when they did the Newsboys United tour, and They played in town at ISU, and I was on my way there. I don't know if I've told this story before, but I was on my way to the show. I was right outside the door, and I see this guy, and it's probably like, I can't remember if it was like fall time or springtime, but it was kind of chilly. It wasn't winter, but it was kind of chilly. And I see this guy who's dressed in all black and wearing a beanie cap too, kind of like mine. And I passed him, and I had to do a double take, and I was like, "Wait!" And I called out. I was like, "Peter?" I wanted to make sure, and he turned to me, and it was Peter. So he was like, "Oh, hey, mate." Um, he's like, he must have been out there just trying to catch a breather before the show. And he had a cold too, so he was like, "I'm not gonna shake your hand because I got a cold." So very, very nice, very thoughtful of him. So we chatted for like a minute or two. He kind of like walked me to the door, and he was really cool. And I got to tell him how much he meant his career meant to me, and it was a very awesome opportunity. And I proceeded to watch an awesome show from them, from Newsboys. So I will always remember that. But he probably won't. But that's okay. Um, it would be really cool to have him on the show. It'll happen, I'm sure. I have great confidence. But and I'll let you guys know of any other exciting guests that I have on the show. So yeah, here's to the future and really awesome interview episodes. All right, so that was a long spiel. That was all the comments that we got. Thank you guys for all your feedback. It really means the world to me. If I haven't said that before, it means a lot for you guys to give me your feedback so I know that I'm doing okay. And thanks again for 498 subs. We're so close. I don't want to be the guy that's always about the sub numbers, but like I basically just want to get over this milestone, and then we'll get past the 600 subs, and then I won't care as much. I'll be okay. But yeah, if you like what you see, if you're new, please subscribe. Would appreciate it. That is that. So next episode, and I'm going to relay this to the rest of the co-host team. So we've got Halloween coming up. The next episode will be on the 21st. And so basically what I want to do, just for something fun, I mean, we might talk about the Gospel Coalition article, but what I want to do is for me and the rest of the team, whoever's on the episode, to pick 5 CCM related songs, Christian songs, whether it be, any spectrum of the Christian music scene, to pick a song that we feel like has Halloween themes to it. And we each like share our list and like why we think that it's got some appropriate Halloween themes. It can, like, just as an example, because I'm not gonna submit it, of course, but like say Skillet's Monster, that's a good example right there. It could be anything. And so yeah, we're going to pick our favorite Halloween theme related Christian songs that you can put on your Christian Halloween church party, and have it be safe for the kids. I mean, unless there's a lot of screaming and they don't like the screaming. Okay, youth group. It can be youth group appropriate. So I think that'll be a fun episode. Just an episode for us to just kick back and just have some fun. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. All right, so that's about all that we got today. It's been a busy day, you know, had my friend's wedding and everything, and so I'm gonna get back on the grind and everything. So love you guys, appreciate y'all, and I'll see you in the next episode. And you guys have a great week. I hope you guys are enjoying this fall. It's still a little warm over here, but it's starting to feel like fall. So go out and enjoy that. And you guys have a good day. See you later.
Hey, this is Stephen Christian from Amberlin. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like. And also feel free to subscribe to I'm Clifford Today. For those of you listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a rating and a review. Also be sure to check out Clifford's Clips and Highlights channel. I'm Clifford Today. If you want to hear more from Clifford, check out his other podcast, Podwood Forecast. And there's always t-shirts and other merch you can buy, so be sure to take a look at that. There are links to everything in the episode description, so thanks for stopping by. And remember, he's Clifford Today, and you're not.